Good morning, my Maven family and friends. So we got an F250 here. Most of you guys are driving F250s, and the problem with lights going out is you never know before the light goes out. And then you're out on the road and you got a light out, and that's gonna maybe get you in trouble. Maybe it's not safe. And second to that, when you're out on the road and you have a light go out for whatever reason, I can't necessarily come right to you and help. So let's see if we can do this together. George here is going to replace the headlight on this left side. Headlight this morning. We're going to start with the removal. I'm going to go through the process as he does it with him. So right now we're going to remove this hose clamp. It takes an 8mm or a 5/16. Should remove that. There is an electrical connector right here. This is for your mass airflow sensor, and there's a red locking tab on the bottom. I pull that away from the sensor, and then I'll push in on the bottom of this connector and pull it off. If you look at it from this side, you can see that red locking tab right there being slid back. After you put it back on, you'll want to slide this lock back into position. Also, I already popped the little locking tabs right here, but there's one, two, and there's a third one in the back there to unclip those. That'll allow you to take this lid up off once we have our hose clamp off. Alright, so you slid it back and remove the top. Pull out your filter. Now's a good time to shake it out on the ground, knock it out, any big stuff. This one looks pretty good. This box right here, this plastic box where the air filter sits, is part of this tank. It's all one piece. And we can't remove it completely from the truck. Obviously, we would have to lose all of our coolant. So what we're just going to do, we're going to loosen it up, and we're just going to move it out of the way enough that we can get our hand behind this headlight. Those bolts you'll have to remove completely. So guys, don't drop your bulb down in your box. It could go right through that hole right there and get lost. I like to put my bolts up here by the windshield wipers where I can clearly see them. They're in their own little like tray. If you had a lot of bolts, you could keep them organized there. There's some rubber grommets at the bottom. You can see those two circles right there. Underneath of those are two rubber grommets. You'll just lift this up until you feel it come free of the grommets. And you'll have to wiggle out this little, oh, wait a minute, we got a wire here, George. There's a wire right here. You may need to get some needle nose pliers. Might be able to push it up from the bottom some. There we go. Boom. Just that amount is all we need. We just need to be able to get our hand down in here. There's a rubber splash shield here. You don't have to move it out the way. Let me see if I can get a look at that plug for the light there. And then you'll have access to the back side of the headlight assembly. This brown connector right here on top, that is for your turn signal bulb. And then there's a black connector further down for the headlight. It looks like it used to have one of those red locking tabs on there, but this truck does not have a locking tab. So we'll remove that connector, and then we'll remove that bulb by turning it, I believe, counterclockwise and pulling out. Was it counterclockwise, George?
Counterclockwise.
Working, and now we're going to show you the reinstall. The important thing to know about one of these bulbs or any of your headlight bulbs is the glass of this bulb gets extremely hot while it's in operation. And because of that, you cannot touch this glass. And you have oils on your hands, contaminants, that if you touch this glass and then it heats up, it will cause this bulb to prematurely fail. It may instantly go. If it's a lot, it may go maybe just sooner than it would have otherwise. But we definitely do not ever want to touch the glass portions of these bulbs at any time. We don't want to get them in contact with any oil or grease or dirt on the way in. We want to put it in very carefully. All right, George. So he's got a new bulb in his hand here. I like to install my bulb and then plug into my connector. Makes it easier to have loose in your hand, guide it in there without getting it dirty. And so I guess installation would be, you have to line the bulb up so that it falls into the hole flat. And then you'll turn it about a quarter of a turn clockwise to lock it back into place. You see there's 3 of these little triangles right here. So you'll have to find the keyway in the back of the headlight by rotating this. It'll fall in then, and then you'll turn it a quarter turn more. It's usually just done by feel. There's really no way that you're going to see in there at the same time. You'll have to plug in your electrical connector. Replace that rubber splash shield. There's those rubber grommets down in the bottom. You can see one of them right there. So you'll want to put the tube that's in the bottom right here, line it up with the hole that's in the truck, and then you'll press the bottom of the box down into those rubber grommets. When it's in, these bolt holes right here should line up. You can see that bolt hole, and you can see that bolt hole. So now we just reinstall our bolts. So on the F250s, this will be the left side, driver's side headlight. That's the more difficult. That one's the most difficult to do on this truck. On the right side of the vehicle, it's just right in here. You can just reach right in and grab it. So he's got his bolts back in and tight. He's putting his air filter back in, then followed by the cover. The 3 latches holding it down. Wait, George. What's that? Very important not to let anything fall in to this area while having it apart. You know, this is the clean side of the filter. The dirty side of the filter doesn't matter so much. You almost always find things in the bottom of that box. But on this back side is where the engine pulls its air from. I want to make sure that this guy gets seated squarely all the way around. See, it's not all the way into the bottom. Okay. We'll tighten that guy up. Reinstall our mass airflow sensor connector. When he tightens that up, we'll be done. Also, make sure when you move something that things sit back the way that they used to. By moving that, this little hose just pulled right up very easily out of there. So we want to make sure those things go back to their homes. Plenty tight. All right, so that fixes it. We'll catch another video for you guys later.